All of your forms can be found at mishawalox.org/forms. So if you're needing a form, you're needing an updated form, that's where you want to go. That's going to have that website is ridiculously important for everybody in the auxiliary. I always say if you're taking a college class, this website is your textbook. So you want to get in there. It's going to have your department officers. It's going to have your district level representatives listed. It's going to have straight contact information for them. It's going to have your forms that you can update. Mishawalox.org for Michigan American Legion Auxiliary.org is going to be a huge resource for everybody. So check that out. Get a chance to go through that when you can. Next, please. All right, we're going to start with the transmittal form, which is this one. For everybody, I don't know how it's going to work. That's that one. So everybody take a look at that. We're going to start with that form. We're just going to go through it one at a time. These are just some of the things. And as we go through this, I'm going to go through different stories of what we've seen in department when they come in and kind of why this is very important, why certain things you have to do. First one up in the top corner is your transmittal number. So as you know, during the year, you'll have different transmittals. Transmittals 1, I have some, they go up to all the way up to transmittal 30. You're going to put your transmittal number up there in that corner. Sometimes a lot of this stuff is left blank. Please fill this whole thing out. It's going to be really helpful with you. It's going to cut back on mistakes for membership. So your transmittal number is going to go up there. Then you're going to have your membership year and date. So if you're submitting something from a former member from 2023, right, or a transmittal sending in a copy, put on that top in that year for 2023. If you're doing, so that's where keeping that, because that way, sometimes when we're in ALA-MIS, we'll mark off 2025, because it says 2025 up there, and it was to get somebody's back years done. So that's that part. Unit name, the name of your unit, and then the next section where it says district number and unit number, make sure you put the district number in the district number section and the unit number in the unit number section. We actually had one where somebody had put their unit in the district section and then put the district number in their unit, and their people were entered into that unit because that's how it read. So be really, really aware of that. Next slide, please. All right. So continuing on the transmittal form, I want to kind of go over what some different definitions are so everybody kind of knows. Especially for the people that are new. And some of this is going to be review for a lot of people because they've been here, but it's nice to catch this fresher. So renewals are people who are members and want to renew their membership. So they remember last year, they want to continue their membership. They don't want to break in it. Those are going to be your renewals. Your new members are going to be people who want to become members for the first time. Okay. There's also a caveat with that I'll explain later in the training. But that's what a new member is classified as. A rejoin is going to be a person who was a member and who wants to be a member again. So let's say they remember the 90s, they remember 2000s, they were a member in 2021, they want to be a member again. Those are going to be rejoins. They need to be rejoined back in. And then you're going to have transfers, and that's people who are transferring from one unit into another unit with their membership. We'll keep going on some definitions. Next slide, please. Am I going at an okay pace for everybody? I'm not zipping through anything? Okay. Next is junior. Junior is anyone under the age of 18. A senior is going to be anyone 18 years of age or older. That's an important distinction. And again, as we go through the training, I'm going to give you guys some different stories of why those distinctions are important and why certain things need to go in certain sections of the paperwork. Next is going to be your credit memo. So if you have a credit memo that you want to use towards your unit dues, that is something that you would put into the transmittal. If you're going to get a credit, we do have to have a physical credit memo from you. Otherwise, we can't process it. And then dues are simply the money that is owed to national, to the department, and to the unit by its members. Okay. Senior dues currently are $31.50 plus whatever the unit charges. Junior dues are $4.25 plus whatever the unit charges. So if you're at home or you're here and you're looking at your paperwork and the pricing does not say $31.50 and $4.25, you're using outdated paperwork. So you're going to go to our Mishawalox website and get those new forms, which you can fill out online and print out. So you're going to want to go there. So again, $31.50 is the current for seniors, and $425 is the current dues price for juniors. Now this is where the numbers can start to skew, and this is where some confusion can start to come in. Add up the number of people on your transmittal and their total dues owed. So one example is if a transfer has already paid their previous unit, you do not owe money for them, but you still want to list them on here. You would put 2 transfers total $31.50 because 1 transfer already paid. So that counts them on their list if you've added them to the list. And then you have the one that you still need to pay through. Okay. Also, if someone says they're not sure if they paid their previous unit or unit, that is something you can check with ALA-MIS if you have your ALA-MIS access, and we will be going over ALA-MIS access forms later and how to get that. That is the other major resource that I think is really important for unit leadership and for unit membership chairs is that ALA-MIS system. Finally, we have the enclosed check number. So at the bottom here of the transmittal, you'll see where it says enclosed check number. This is extremely important. Please put that in there. I would say, honestly, about half of the transmittals that we get here at department, this part is not filled out. Problem is if we need to go look something up from 2023, 2022 or earlier, and we don't have a check number listed here, it's very hard to coordinate everything with our QuickBooks, our accounting, our membership, all of that. So please write your check number there so we can keep your paperwork with that check. And that way, if there's an issue in the future, we can find that easier for you. On your checks, make sure they are made out to, and this is with everything, this is donations, make sure ALA Department of Michigan. Okay, because sometimes we'll get stuff. We've actually received checks that are made out to individual people. The Legion. So make sure that your checks are ALA Department of Michigan. Again, this is extremely important for our accounting, our filing, and our records retention here at state headquarters, which, as you can see, we have over 100 years of paperwork that we're keeping track of here at the department. All right, slide. Okay. So at the bottom, this that's on this slide is going to go over the bottom. This is very important to make very legible as well in case there's an issue. We do send your packets back, your transmittals back to you. So that you can fix all of your paperwork, and we'll get into that in a little bit. But again, this is going to be your remit to information. Print your name, the title you have within your unit, the mailing address that you want your paperwork returned to if there is an issue, city, state, and zip, your phone, a very clear email address in case there's anything we need to do with that, and then again, a signature at the bottom. This where it says signatures, it's very important that you put your signatures because these are official documents that are kept. And so without signatures, we can't do a lot of stuff. Again, per our protocols and procedures, any incomplete or incorrect transmittal is returned to the unit. The reason we do this is because we want to keep all of the units, paperwork, payments, everything together. So if you send something in, we're going to send it back to you in its entirety so that you can take care of it that way. And that way we're not piecemealing stuff together with voicemails and emails and things like that. We've got it all in one place with the payment all at one time. If anyone has any questions about the transmittal form right now, go ahead and start writing those down in your notes so we can address those here at the end. Okay, so that's what's going to be what we're reviewing on the transmittal form today. Okay, all right. The next form we're going to be working with is our transmittal list. Okay, this is where you're going to list all of your members that you are renewing, rejoining, new members, everything that's going to be on this list. So this is what we're working with right now. I'll give everybody a chance to get that. Let's have your list. Okay, so the transmittal list, it's going to be used for transmitting your membership. Up in the right-hand corner here, you're going to write your unit number. Again, caveat, same thing that happened earlier when someone put the district here. Well, when they turn the page, they put the district number here too. So you want to make sure that is unit level. So your unit number here and the date of the transmittal, okay? Please put your list in alphabetical order and include junior members with senior members. This is really important because this is going to help you with your organization of it too, and it's going to help us process it faster because we don't have to look, well, okay, here's a letter A, here's a letter A. All right, now here's a B, and go through it that way. So keeping that in order is going to help us get that in a more efficient way. And again, put your list in alphabetical order and include your junior members together with your senior members. The next caveat is you're going to want to group together any expired or former members who need to be rejoined. And then you're going to list your name of new members in a separate group. So let's say you have 3 renewals. You're going to write those 3 here, in the first 3. You skip number 4, and then you write 3 rejoins in 5, 6, and 7. And then you'll have a space, and then your new members, 9, 10, however you want to do that. But keep those groups separate, and each group should be in alphabetical order. That's going to be able to help us process those much quicker and get your membership in a timelier fashion. So that everything you're seeing on your end is matching what we have here in department. Like I said, skip the lines between those groups. Next slide. So this is important. You can list people on the transmittal list who have already played online, but do not send in a payment for those members. Okay, so if they have paid online and you, for your records, want to keep them in the transmittal list, that's fine. Go ahead and do that. But in this far left-hand column, you'll see join renewed online. You're going to check next to that the ones who have all renewed online. So that way I can go through and I don't have to process that person because they're already processed and done. If you send in a payment for that person, you have now sent department too much money, which means your whole transmittal has to be returned back. That's kind of the thing too, and why this training is so important and why paying attention to these documents is if one thing is wrong, it craters the entire transmittal. And so that's something to keep in mind. So if a lot of what we've received too is the highlighted lists of membership, and so it'll basically be a list of people and then they'll highlight the people that are getting renewed. If you're using the highlighted copy of your roster instead of the transmittal list, ensure that you highlight everyone on the list that you are paying dues for. Don't do like a writing or a circle or a check. Make sure you highlight them so that we're clear. Because if I'm going through and I see that there's scribbling next to 20 people and you've only had 18 people that you're paying through, I don't know which two to not process. So that's going to be very important. Again, any incomplete or incorrect paperwork will be returned. When I was teaching as a graduate assistant in college, we had the pass, fail, incomplete. There is no fail. Everyone is going to get a chance to do their paperwork and get it correct. There is incomplete though, because ALA-MIS and Nationals system requires us to go in a certain way. And so that's why I'm wanting to get you guys this information now so that we can start doing that. All right. Transmittal list is one of the shorter documents. So if anybody has any questions about a transmittal list, go ahead and write those questions down now.